This is the Barbados Today afternoon news for Wednesday, September 27th. Thank you for joining us. I am Mary-Claire Williams. We begin with news that at this hour, workers at the state-owned Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation are off the job. At issue is outstanding back pay since November 2012. Just last night, it was announced during the CBC Evening News that workers would finally receive the outstanding payments. But sources tell Barbados Today that while it was agreed that all employees would receive the increments, some unionized workers at the top discovered that they did not receive outstanding payments in yesterday's pay pack. Last night, talks also reportedly broke down between CBC management and the Barbados Workers Union at the level of the Minister of Labour, Dr. Esther Bayasuku. Barbados Today also understands that some workers are upset after not being paid for more than 2 months. In other news this afternoon, one prison officer is due in court today on drugs charges. Robin Wiltshire of Coach Hill, St. John, is accused of possession with intent to supply, and trafficking of cannabis. Police say the drug squad discovered 7 taped packages containing 262 grams of the drugs at Wiltshire's home on Tuesday while executing a search warrant. The estimated value is $1,314. Meanwhile, a St. Lucian woman is due to appear in the District B Magistrates Court today, also on drugs charges. 23-year-old Jonelle Pear was detained at the Grantley Adams International Airport on Monday with 2 kilograms of cocaine valued at $100,000. She was charged with possession with intent to supply, trafficking, and importation of the drug. It was detected in her luggage by a police dog from the K9 unit. Customs officers subsequently searched her luggage and discovered 7 black packages containing the drug concealed in false compartments of her suitcase. There are calls to revise local laws to encourage the development of micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. It comes from the Vice President of Risk Management at Sagicor Life, Orwin Sandiford, at a public lecture. Sandiford told the 8th Leo Leacock Memorial Lecture last night that although they make significant contribution to the economy, those businesses face too many challenges.
To realize that their true potential, the SMEs need to restructure their organization and modernize management practices. Despite the significant impact that SMEs are making, there are still a number of constraints hampering the growth of the sector. With limited access to capital, limited market share, and little control over the market and price, to name a few, SMEs are operating in a market where the goalpost is always moving as it relates to inputs. Only adding to these challenges, this makes it critical that the SBA continues to lobby policymakers to create a new legislative framework conducive to the sector's success. This includes making those external factors within their purview limited in order to minimize the negative impact on the SME.
Last night's lecture was part of activities marking Small Business Week. And Jamaica's former Prime Minister, Portia Simpson Miller, is calling on CARICOM member states to work closer together to deal with the impact of climate change. Simpson Miller's call at the SBA's lecture last night came on the heels of 3 devastating hurricanes in the Caribbean this year. Dominica was the latest country to be hit when Hurricane Maria decimated the island, which it was still rebuilding from Tropical Storm Erica 2 years ago. She says there is need for increased preparation for natural disasters and changing weather patterns in the region.
Whatever anyone else wants to say or think, climate change is real. This is especially so for those of us who occupy small, vulnerable island states. We'll continue to be confronted by the effects of climate change with more of these intense and deadly disasters. Let us not wait for another Irma or Maria to begin to do what we know has to be done. I hope they will never name one a Portia. Because I love, not hate. I comfort and support, not hurt. The Caribbean region must come together now, fully understanding that in any given year, at least one territory in the region is likely to be severely impacted by one disaster or another. For sure, it does not help in taking comfort or breathing a sigh of relief that it was them and not us. It is all of us. Brothers and sisters, we are one Caribbean people, one region, facing a common environmental threat, and we must be fully prepared to confront this threat of climate change together.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Good morning, Phillips & Company, may I help? Oh, certainly. One moment, please. Miss Phillips?
Yeah?
There's a lady on the line from the Nation newspaper who would like to speak with you.
The Nation? Will she go on?
Well, they're trying to sell us some ads.
Look, don't make me laugh this morning. Ads in the Nation? They're real expensive, and for 1 year, nobody ain't buying them papers no more. Nobody want to steal news. I hear reading Barbados Today online for free. So I tell she thanks for calling, but no thanks. We just advertising Barbados Today, families. Tell she is Barbados Today all the way.
Okay, I'll pass on the message. Ma'am, are you still there? Oh, she put down.
The Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Thank you for staying with us. We are back now with news from around the region. St. Lucia's Police Welfare Association says the ongoing investigation into a recent crime wave is biased against lawmen. The association's spokesperson, the acting Sergeant Zachary Hippolyte, is asking authorities in Castries to state whether their other parties are being investigated. We get more in this report from HTS News Force.
The PWA held a press conference Tuesday morning to update the media on the organization's progress since the new executive took office. This comes just 1 week following news that at least 3 police officers implicated in the CARICOM impacts investigation into 12 deaths during the 2010-2011 Operation Restore Confidence were interviewed by the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution. PWA Public Relations Officer Acting Sergeant Zachary Hippolyte told the media that amid all the allegations and investigations, the entire impacts probe appears to be centered on the police. Hippolyte refers to former Prime Minister Dr. Kenny Anthony's March 8, 2015 address to the nation regarding the confidential yet controversial impacts report.
He did indicate as to other entities or persons involved in this situation, that of lawyers, politicians and businessmen. So we would like to know, where are they? Are they being investigated? Is there a separate investigation for them? Have they been brought in for questioning the same way our members have been brought in for questioning? Who are those persons? Where are they? You know, and we are very concerned about this as a Police Welfare Association.
The Police Welfare Association's PRO says members continue to work despite their low morale.
And finally, the private cab hire company Uber has appeared before an appeals tribunal in the UK as it argues that its drivers are not employees. This comes less than a week after the company was threatened with a withdrawal of its London license in a separate case. We get more in this Reuters report.
If Uber is forced to recognize UK drivers as employees, it will mean that they're entitled to benefits that would cut severely into their profit margins. Uber says it's following the same practice as other taxi companies, but the tech giant also has more direct control of a driver than the average London black cab, and already pays less. For many Uber drivers, the company's troubles seem like a lose-lose situation. Many feel taken advantage of, but the alternative is 40,000 drivers being out of work entirely, and it may have a domino effect.
That's news this afternoon. Remember, you can get more on our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're on Izumi Media in bus terminals and Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also find us on Mix 96.9 FM. I am Mary Claire Williams. Have a good afternoon.